Plato, who lived from 428 to 347 BCE, and his student Aristotle, who lived from 384 to 322 BCE, were the two most important philosophers of Western antiquity, and both remain among the most important figures in the entire Western intellectual tradition. Plato's wide-ranging discussions address nearly every philosophical topic imaginable and set the stage for philosophical exploration for the next 2 millennia. Plato was born to an aristocratic family in Athens, among the leaders of Athenian society. He was expected to go into public service and politics, but he eschewed a life of politics after coming under the influence of Socrates, that gadfly who asked his students to think about justice, truth, reality, friendship, love, and honesty. Plato learned to abjure received opinion and concentrated instead on developing his own principles based on well-rounded thinking. Plato witnessed the trial and death of his great teacher in 399 BCE, and he wrote the Apology to commemorate the event. Plato can be thought of as a great disciple of Socrates. Just as the Gospel writers recorded and reinterpreted the legacy of Jesus in the New Testament, Plato devoted his whole life to teaching and developing the lessons he learned from his teacher. In about 387 BCE, Plato founded the Academy, the first university in the Western world. The Academy would remain open for nearly 1,000 years. Plato's student Aristotle studied there for 20 years before opening his own school, the Lyceum, in 347 BCE. While lecturing at the Academy, Plato wrote 30 dialogues, including the Republic. The dialogues address every major philosophical topic you can think of: the nature of knowledge, truth, love, beauty, the structure of the cosmos, and the nature of the human soul, etc., etc. In the Republic, Plato addresses the nature of justice and the form of the ideal state. He explores how society ought to be structured in order for people to flourish. The main character and first-person narrator of the dialogue is Plato's teacher, Socrates himself, who in the course of the dialogue converses with a number of questioners. In Book 1 of the Republic, Socrates responds to an assertion by Thrasymachus, who insists that justice is solely determined by power. Later this month, we'll encounter Friedrich Nietzsche, who made a similar argument. For Thrasymachus, morality is solely determined by the strongest people in a society, who seize power and force citizens to follow laws which are made to benefit the rulers themselves. Socrates attempts to refute this argument by helping Thrasymachus think through his assertion, arriving at the conclusion that an unjust ruler would create chaos in his soul and therefore disunity in the state. But even Socrates is not completely comfortable with his conclusion. Throughout the rest of the Republic, Socrates pursues a vision of how a just state can be created and develops the analogy between the well-ordered soul and the well-governed state. The section of the Republic you are about to read comes from the start of Book 2. Glaucon and Idamanthus are Plato's brothers, and they challenge Socrates to prove that justice itself, stripped of its consequences, makes a person happier than injustice itself, injustice stripped of its consequences. It takes Socrates the remainder of the Republic to fully respond to this challenge. Please go ahead and read it. I've supplied a few prompts to get a conversation going among you in the Google Docs just below me on the page. Feel free to ask your own questions and make your own comments. Please feel free to respond to each other's comments as you do the reading. And I'll join in and see what you have to say. Bye now.